Hey, what's up? Chris. Um, Continuing working on RedwoodJS. Let me know if the audio's okay. I did some stuff on audio settings earlier today. I think it's kind of loud for me. So thanks for joining me. Switch over to my. Right. So we've been working on a grocery planning app, something very exciting. We can add stuff to the app. So let's get some frozen pizza. Press Control Enter to select it, and that's uncategorized because it's a new item. So go over to frozen foods. And where's frozen foods? Okay, so pizza and frozen pizza. I guess we don't need a duplicate there. So in the last video, we created stores. So we ran into a database issue with Prisma where it was causing congestion when it was creating the store. So for this example, hey Todd, what's going on? Trying to think of a store. Costco. I don't know if Costco's already in there. All right, so yeah, we got Costco. So we're creating congestion with these store categories. And these are all the categories that a store can have. Actually, that's not what we did in the last video. Last video was we created the select that populates the grocery list, which is these are grocery list items, user items. So these same items, but it's sorted by which store you're in. And right now all the stores have the same order. I don't know why that keeps coming up. If I refresh, it's Costco that caused that. Hey, Todd, I have a question. How's the audio? That's what I'm not sure about. See, now Costco's back on here and it is showing up. I don't know, it's not changing, but these are different. These are different orders technically. So my voice is too low, or the music's too low. Okay, so let's see if I can help Todd out. Okay, so in OBS, I've got that up to, must be a filter that I have. That's today, it's like 30-45 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna play with this during the stream. You let me know if this is effect. I am not an audio engineer. Let me know if that's any better. If it's not, then I will adjust. I am not the creator of Redwood by far. I am just a fan. So I do really like it. Redwood. Have you used Redwood Denial? Because it is. Go down all the way to the bottom. Got Tom Preston Werner on here. I don't know who Tom is. an American software developer, billionaire. He was one of the founders of GitHub. So, I don't know if you've used GitHub before. Yeah, you're right, Todd. So, he's involved in it. I've never seen him in chat. But what I really like is that they're in, like, was it sim version? They're like an early version of it. But even with that, there's so much you can do with it. So Rob's got this tutorial. It's pretty straightforward going through. In fact, like, it's a really good reference for going back and figuring out how to do something. And then they've got excellent documentation. Yeah, it's not even out yet, and they've got excellent documentation. So they're version 0.15. Which podcasts did you watch, Denial? I'd be interested to hear which podcasts. And I'm gonna go back to this. So this is selecting the different versions. Right now, so it uses Apollo in the background. So these are all in Apollo Cache at the moment. It's pretty convenient. But I think we should probably set these out. Let me show you how this is constructed. Store. So that's a virtual table. We compile it on this filtered list right here, because what we need to do is we need to pull all the items out of the user items and bunch them with the category. You know what? I need to. I remember. So I listened to it, but I heard about it on Syntax as well. I'm not sure if I listened to them on Stack. I'm a big fan of. I mean, you'll notice this is in Tailwind, and it's also got some Tailwind UI components. So this layout is Tailwind UI. So. You've seen that any. So this is actually an app that I've built before. When I was trying to come out with a SaaS product 6 or 7 years ago. It's actually still up. My wife and I use this. But I don't know if I could get into the server if I had to put a gun to my head. I don't think I could do it. So I've had like 2 or 3 laptops since then. It used is it RSID key to log into him, right? So I don't think I could get in here and fix it. If anything, if there's like a security vulnerability or anything. So don't hack me. But I luckily have this administration page that can use. None of those people. It's just my wife and I. Shop Talk. I haven't listened to that. Which podcast is that? Who are the hosts of Shop Talk? Well, I said I was going to do filter or drag and drop, so that actually will be in the stores, and we can sort these items. My idea is that and you click on one of these items and you move it, and then it'll update the database. Oh, Chris Coyer, yeah. I need to get back on my podcast. I've been on YouTube videos lately. Been pounding those pretty hardcore when I'm like working, listening to them in the background. So there's this React sortable higher order component that I was thinking we might be able to use, and then on the sort in, that's when we can send off the new array. We have to figure out what this array move turns. We can in console log that out. What are you looking at making, Todd? Let's get this. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the specific Redwood stuff. So Redwood, because it's full stack, it has two layers. It has the web and the API. So stopper server yarn Redwood web add, and this is how you add stuff to the package.json in the web. Literally just a package.json in there, but they've got some nice CLI commands that you can use. They have a bunch of generators in there, which are really awesome. In fact, if you're okay, like if you don't add many changes to some of the services or the GraphQL, they use Prisma, so they have a schema definition language file. If you don't make many changes to those, you can just override them when your schema changes on the database. I should show you the schema. Let me add this package, and then I'll switch over and show you the schema. Okay. Add that. Cool. What will it do? Like figure out which payroll deductions you're eligible for? Like each person's eligible for? Oh, like that. I always mess this one up. Alright. Let's utilize their excellent documentation for CLI commands, which you can edit if you find an error, and I've edit to it. Alright. It's in there somewhere, but remember that it's easier to find the tutorial. Or maybe it's not. Sometimes Google's easier. Yarn Redwood. So you can type Redwood. If I could type. Or you can do yarn Redwood web add something. And if you watch what's her name? Suze Hinton. It was her? No, it wasn't her. I don't know. I saw someone say that instead of doing your sudo commands as sudo, you should set them as please, and it just makes a much nicer experience. I haven't done that yet. I'm considering it. Okay, so it's like a B2B product. According to Cortland Allen on Indie Hackers, B2B products make 4 times on average more money than yeah, B2C products, at least from their audience. I'm not doing a good demonstration. I can find this better. Maybe this is missing from the documentation. Web is too much of a used word. Just being impatient. I want to show you quickly and show you how awesome it is, but that's not going to happen, so we're going to do it slowly and find the workspace. That's what it is. Okay. Workspace, web ad. I just use workspace for that. Are you in the US, Todd? Is that what context you're thinking of this in, or is this like a global type thing? Starts a new page each time. Start the server, so I do this in a separate window, but I haven't. How do I like working with what? Refresh the page, no errors. Oh, so probably recorded past couple weeks, maybe like 10 or 15 videos on it. I started on YouTube, and then Scott Talinsky and Brad Garapi. They didn't make me, but they strongly suggested that I switch over to Twitch. Like Scott tried out Twitch maybe 3 or 4 days ago, but the reason is it's a huge ocean on YouTube, and you can sort of get lost in it. Plus, there's not that much engagement. I found that when I was streaming on YouTube, is that I think I had 1 comment while I was streaming, and obviously here with Twitch, there's just. I was talking with a dude from Germany last night. He was up at like 4 a.m. watching coding and working on projects. He had 2 energy drinks. And it seems like a more tightly knit community. So I switched over to this. Still figuring it all out. But they've all been on Redwood. So it's pretty nice to work with. There's some quirks with it. Actually deploying might be a little bit difficult. I've got it so it's got continuous deployment on Netlify, but that's not there's a database error. Something with my seed file. Because it has to seed those categories. Those categories are, you can't really add new categories. I don't want you to be able to do that. Yeah, I'm getting the Prisma category find. There's no categories in the database, basically. I've got continuous deployment set up. It's already got me logged in. That's not the issue. It's just the category. That's just something I've got to figure out. But yeah, you can do continuous deployment with it on Netlify with each commit. It's pretty nice. I'm just working in master. No one else is yet. And then when you're working locally, it uses a different database, so that's where the congestion was happening. I don't even know if it's going to cause this congestion when it gets up to Netlify. So Netlify, I've also got a Heroku database going. So a lot of projects going. I've got a Heroku instance with the database. It's a Postgres database. So we were adding React sortable higher order components. Those are a little bit old, but they're still in use a lot of places. So try to use it. I'm just gonna start right here and pull this in. Throw it on a timeout. Also just got a new mouse today, so I may be jumpy. Forgive me. Having it looks like carpal tunnel. I'm not sure if it is. I watched a video that said carpal tunnel is actually on the inside of the thumb, right there. But I've been laying my arm right there, and it causes compression on the nerves going along. So I've got a thumb mouse, which I went and picked up today. So hopefully that will help out. I've also got a little gel pad to sit it on. If anybody has any suggestions about what to do about that, something that I've been experiencing over this week, streaming so much, that would be awesome. So Redwood's got this concept of cells, which encapsulate data fetching, basically. So it uses a GraphQL Apollo configuration, and it manages these states. So query, loading, empty, success, and it'll switch out these say templates. I've been working on some templates. It'll switch out these components in the cell, but it has to end in cell hook. Most of these are generated. I didn't write all this stuff. So Redwood generates it, and then I can come in and change how I want things to work. If I want categories, which I wouldn't put it on that. So categories then goes into a component. So there's my categories component. I can then come in and put in tailwind stuff if I want. BG white, put rounded, shadow. Probably gonna end up messing up something. Okay. I'm in edit stores, and that's actually where I want to be doing stuff. So edit store. Because when if you're rearranging the order that the stores show up, I think you probably want to do that in edit stores. So that'll be the edit store cell, because the cell, it needs to know which stores are in there. So that's within the Redwood context of a cell. Get update on save. It generated most of these things. So these are like the Redwood generator. I think I created this header. That was it. I guess I changed how it showed up. So here's where we'll want to be using this. So I've copied it into my clipboard. I'll paste it in and look at it. Move this up to the top. Okay, that's important. It uses this as a sortable component and has the item and state as an array of string. Should I refactor this as hooks, since I'm using hooks in most of the application? What do you think? All right, let's try refactoring this as a hook. Sortable component. And we'll call this, so it really get some errors. So we'll need use state. And yeah, we'll call that items. So we'll need to do something. We'll have an initial array, but what I'm thinking is we call this as a sortable component right here with this store categories function. And then we can pass it up and down through the components. So capitalize that. I don't know about you guys, but VS Code's been annoying me lately with changes to make. I don't think I have that many extensions. Whatever. Okay. So we got the new sortable components. Go ahead and pass that through. Hope if you have the right syntax. A. Pass it as store categories. We can leave that there for reference right now. So store categories pass here. And log it just to make sure that it's passing through. need a return, so div. How is everybody today? And text XL XL. Hello world. Alright, we got some errors. Can't resolve array move. Oh, we didn't add it. Dash move. I wish I'd known about this array dash move. Maybe it's not even, it wasn't even made yet. When I originally made the application for moving the array, these products in the arrays like 6 or 7 years ago, that was a beast to figure out. And I was using a drag and drop then, but it wasn't working well on mobile. That was a pain in the butt. Oh. So, all right. Anytime you restart Redwood, it does take. It's not like create rag app. It's got to generate the GraphQL. I think it throws that into a. It runs in Node on local, but I think it throws that into a serverless function. I'm not sure. That's why I'm using it, so I don't have to do all that stuff. Alright, back in here, shop. Nope, stores. I'm gonna edit target. Alright, component is not defined. Of course it's not defined because we don't use components anymore. But React, so one thing that Redwood does is it sends React already in there. So now it's complaining state is not defined. So let's import that. Don't have React imported. Everybody's having a good weekend. All right. So, hello world is being pulled in. All right. Back to rewriting this component. That's just annoying. It would make something so big. Pretty good. I touched up paint in my house. So okay. So part of the reason that I've been streaming so much is my wife and kids are out of the house. They've been. My wife's from the UK, so she's been in the UK for the past month. We kind of think it's going to be the last chance for her to visit her family during COVID for the fall. So I've been streaming a lot because I like it. It's actually kind of cool. Kind of cool having feedback while you code, but also yeah, I don't have family here to do stuff with. But I have a to-do list of things that I need to do, so I painted the walls and cleaned some grout. Did a little bit of client work for his project's in Meteor, so Meteor client. But yeah, I've been bacheloring it up, which I actually don't really like that. So. Everybody's joking about how much fun I'm should be having. I gotta mow the lawn in the next couple days. Been a big fan of the lawn care nut on YouTube. If you ever found him, he will make it really good, but it's a lot of work. Okay, so we're displaying the sortable component that we're refactoring. Welcome anybody who's just joined. So we're switching this from a class-based component to a hooks-based component. Hopefully this will work. If it doesn't. So we got store categories. Let's make sure that they're being console logged. Yep, got an array of 43 items. These are all of the items that are available. So, those items are going to be store categories. And it's already in an array, so it's not going to be a double array. Console log. What's the table? Alright, so edit store 134 is still logging. Delete that. Alright, so now you can take a look at the items. They have an order, which is what we're going to be editing. And because each time they get added, so this is a virtual table. This isn't actually in the database. Every time they get added, they have this order. So we're not going to actually use the ID. So our items state object is correct. So they define state. My VS Code keeps jumping around. Does anybody else's VS Code do that? Okay, so we've got, we need an onSort end function. Well, literally, I can just copy paste this, couldn't I? Maybe I don't want to handle the sort yet, because if I do that, then I won't be able to put that through. So we've at least defined it. Console log, old index and new index. Oh, so like, I was just scrolling right there. Okay, so focus is in this hello world. There, I was just focusing right there, and VS Code like jumped all the way up here, and then I had to move back down here. Like, I want VS Code to not be Microsoft-y, like buggy like that. If that makes sense. Like it's been such a good. It's been my longest running editor, but it yeah, I don't want it to degrade basically. We got array move, index items, blah blah blah. But we're not going to use that yet because we want to be able to render it. So we got the return. And this is where we're returning sortable list. So Apparently I can do this. Yeah, look out for it because it's mine's been doing it for about a week or two. I don't think when I last updated because I'm like not on Canary like Scott and Wes do off of syntax. I don't know what's causing it, but it's bugging the hell out of me. So we'll pass the items context and on sort in. Should pass that as well. So if I'm not mistaken, we have refactored the class-based component. Save that for reference. So this is what they called a, what was it called? A dumb functional. That's what they used to call that, was a dumb functional component. And then sortable item. This is where we would determine what these items actually look like. Yeah, that's fine for now. File error 147. I didn't close it. Another one. Child, collection of children use an array instead. Order lists, items. That should be fine. So it's actually in here, sortable item. This is what happens when you copy and paste something from the internet, right? Yeah. Okay. Anybody see where the error is? See, I don't think I've updated it because I close close that update suggestion every time. Oh, same key. There we go. So it's getting the same key value. All right. Let's log items. Server error. Server error. It took a minute, didn't it? Okay, edit store 124. Okay, so it is getting it down into the sortable list. Getting a duplicate key value. Okay, let's break this out. How hot it is up there in Maine. I'm in North Carolina, by the way. Thanks for watching, Todd. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you next time. That's why. Out there too. Sorry if it's jarring me jumping around a lot, but I gotta get going. Okay. We got a different area. Objects are not valid as a React child. You're not valid as a React child. Say something. Alright, so I mean, I'm fine with it. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the item ID. I have to say that. Index value. Oh, okay. So this is what's not valid. Objects aren't valid as a React. All right. Does anybody see the error? Uncut objects are not valid as React child object keys. Right, so items is working. Throw it into a UL that then maps over items, index, value ID. Value IDs should be unique because it's coming from the database. Index. There's the jump. Showing that up there. What I'm going to do is this up. Okay, it's not even getting down to there. Alright, so it doesn't like Oh. Oh. Okay, so here's the issue. See how right here we have to do value ID for the key? Because this is an object. Yeah, of course that makes sense. You'd think I would have noticed that. Okay, so we need to get back up to the top. Category name. All right, so we've got these, and look, it let me move it. Let's get rid of all of these console logs. Shit. All right, so it does let me move these. Look at that. That's nice looking. Like I can think of some styling that we'll do to it. Doesn't like calling undefined is not iterable. Cannot read property symbol of iterator. So array move, it's not liking giving it. And it jumped again. Todd was on here because he could have seen the jumping that I'm talking about. Okay, let's see if we can at least get the console log of the old and new index. 1 and 3. So it did like if you show that right there, it did let's use some template literals. Okay, so move that beer clothing. Old index 2, new index 3. Defined is not iterable. Okay, so I think the issue has to do with how we set this to begin with. So we need to look at what array move requires. Of course, it would require an array, wouldn't it? Initially, that's an array coming in, but what we were doing here So with class-based component, arrays handled slightly differently, or the states handled slightly differently. So we'll keep that as store categories coming in, which is an array. But instead of structure items, so we need to figure out how to array move, turn, the shape coming back. Actually, wouldn't it just be return array move? Try. Where's the syntax? There we go. Let's break this out into a function so we can make sure that we've items coming in. So now it should present a table on that, and for the table it should after the table. Is this a large table? Put it after the table and crash. Like extra parentheses. Welcome. We are working on sorting an array in RedwoodJS. And we're trying to sort a grocery list, so the categories for the grocery list show up different ways based off of what store you are in, what grocery store. Error. So this array move handles the moving around of the. Okay, so there is an error. All right, bingo. Okay, so here's the moving. That's pretty handy, but we need it to actually do something once we mouse up. That's where we keep having the issue. Console tables is not a function. Okay, so I've asked this already, but are you having issues with VS Code, jumping around. That's me. Great. That's returning undefined. Does this need to be async? Set. Getting the index changes, but we're not getting anything down from items. How items is not in context there because it's lower down, but let's see. Still not getting anything out of items. Items is set right there. Why is items not available lower down in here? Okay. Is this being called in the correct component? Being set down. Don't have it being used at any point. Not passed down further. Console errors. Refresh and retry. Errors on load. It's just when I drop that. Call of undefined. it re-renders quickly, there is a promise. What if I change state so it's similar to the way it's set up there? State is an object, items. And then remove takes the array of items. Sync. Four. So the new array is turning null. Let's just call it without returning anything. If we're having a race condition of undefined. Store 158. Okay, so now said items. Whoa, work. Oh, got rid of. That's bizarre. I do that, it gets rid of the items completely. Sort and items. Okay. So it's letting me know which index it moves to. Okay, so this is running set items. It was coming from that definition. Ray, move. What if change this? Array where these store categories are spread. That would mean this is the raw array. Items. Try. It's not spreading the store categories. If I go right here, console table. You have any ideas? not spreading those. Crazy, like a if on that. Know what to do here. That's an array. This is not taking its items here. Items is undefined for some reason. Spreading it. This is showing correctly. It's not defined. Function. Breaking down items. We don't need to break down items. Oh, we've got a new array. Hold on, let's move something that we recognize. Baby. Low clothing. Whoa, we moved it. The order has changed. 3, 4. Okay. So we've got the new array. Ooh, that was more complex because I was switching from a class-based component to a hooks-based, and my data structure was different. Okay. So we got the new array. What is the best way to change the database with this? See if we can get this shown in the interface at least. And maybe I'll call that a success for today. Ooh. Look at that. No errors. Let's get rid of the console. What would help is if I also show the index in the order. So let's do the index first. And then we'll do the order next. So this is only on the client. Okay, index is not showing. Why the hell not? it's not gonna work, might as well not send it down. Element. Okay, so apparently it needs that under the surface of that. Alright, I thought I was being clever. Being used by something. So this gets back into user experience with it. What is the best way of editing the orders? So we've got it editing on the client. We could keep track of the number of changes and then save them, and it'll create the new order. That's probably the best way. And all it will do is, when it's doing this, it's saving this item's state in the new order. That's all it's doing. It's returning this new array to this new order. So then we could have a handler, on-click handler, saves it, and it sends the current state of this items array up to Redwood, and then Redwood, a mutation in Redwood, and then Redwood saves it. So I think that's what the plan is. I am going to save. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a save button, add a handler, create a mutation, save new order for this list to database Redwood. And then refetch query. That's all I can think. But I'm starting to get kind of hungry, so I'm gonna go eat. Think about this while I'm eating, and maybe come back and do this tonight. Otherwise, I might do this tomorrow. So it's been Chris. I've been working on Redwood application. Thank you for watching. I'm going to commit this and be back later to work if you're available. Have a good evening. Take care.